The music pulsed like a heartbeat, but I stood frozen, a glass of bourbon sweating in my hand, as my wife spun across the dance floor with her best friend, their laughter slicing through the crowd. Their bodies moved too close, her hand lingering on his shoulder, his fingers grazing her waist longer than they should. I told myself it was nothing, just old friends caught in the wedding's glow. But the way her eyes sparkled for him, the way she leaned into his whispers, carved a hollow in my chest I couldn't name. The venue was a dreamscape, draped in fairy lights that twinkled like stars against the velvet night. Tables overflowed with roses, their scent heavy, mingling with the tang of champagne, and the warmth of bodies swaying to the band's rhythm. I stood by the bar, the polish would cool under my elbow, watching Claire twirl in her emerald dress, the one she'd worn because I said it made her look like a goddess. Now, that dress caught the light as she danced with Ethan, her laughter louder than the music, her joy a private language I wasn't privy to. I'd known Ethan since college, the charming guy who always had a story, a grin, a way of making Claire's face light up. They'd been inseparable back then, but I never questioned it. She chose me, didn't she? The ring on her finger, the vows we spoke 3 years ago, the late nights planning a future. Those were mine. Yet, as I watched them now, something gnawed at me, a quiet doubt I'd buried under trust. The way she tossed her head back when he whispered, the way his hand brushed her arm as they swayed. It felt like a memory I wasn't part of. Having fun, Nate? Sarah, the bride's sister, appeared beside me, her voice light but her eyes sharp, like she'd caught me staring too long. I forced a smile, the bourbon burning my throat as I took a sip. Yeah, just soaking it all in. I said, my voice steadier than I felt. Weddings, you know? Always a spectacle. She tilted her head, her gaze flicking to Claire and Ethan. They're quite the pair out there, huh? Her tone was casual, but it carried an edge, like she was testing me. I shrugged, telling myself it was just dancing, just friends, just a moment. But Sarah's eyes lingered on me, and I wondered what she saw, a fool, a husband, or a man losing something he couldn't name. The night wore on, the crowd thinning as couples drifted to tables or slipped outside to steal kisses under the stars. I stayed rooted, my eyes tethered to Claire. She hadn't danced with me once. Not a single song. I'd asked her earlier, my hand outstretched, but she'd laughed saying, "Later, Nate, I'm having too much fun." Her words had stung, but I'd brushed it off, blaming the wine, the music, the chaos of the night. Now, as Ethan spun her again, her smile brighter than I'd seen in months, the sting deepened into something raw, something that tasted like betrayal. I set my glass down, the clink against the bar too loud in my ears, and made my way toward them. The floor vibrated under my feet, the music a dull roar. Claire saw me coming, her smile faltering for a fraction of a second before it widened, too bright, too forced. "Nate," she called, her voice breathy, her cheeks flushed. "Come join us." Ethan stepped back, his grin easy, but his eyes held mine a beat too long, like he was measuring me. "Yeah, man, get in on this. Your wife's got moves." I forced a laugh, my throat tight. "Maybe later. Just checking in. You two seem cozy." Claire's laugh was sharp, almost nervous. "Oh, come on, Nate. It's Ethan. We're just having fun." She reached for my hand, but her touch felt fleeting, like she was already pulling away. "You should dance with Sarah. She's been eyeing you all night." Her words landed like a slap, deflecting, redirecting, as if my presence was an inconvenience. I glanced at Ethan, who was watching us now, his expression unreadable. "Yeah, maybe," I muttered, stepping back, the hollow in my chest growing. Back at the bar, I ordered another bourbon, my thoughts spiraling. I remembered the late-night texts Claire got from Ethan, the ones she'd laugh off as just catching up. The weekend trips to see her college crew, where Ethan was always there, always too close in the photos she posted. I'd told myself it was nothing, that trust was the foundation of us. But now, watching her lean into him, her hand brushing his chest as they laughed, I wondered if I'd been blind. The band slowed, a ballad filling the air, and Claire didn't leave Ethan's side. They swayed together, her head resting against his shoulder, his arms encircling her like they'd done this 1,000 times. My grip tightened on my glass, the bourbon untouched now, my pulse hammering in my ears. I wanted to storm over, to pull her away, to demand answers. But what would I say? Why are you dancing with him like you used to dance with me? Sarah appeared again, her voice softer now. Nate, you okay? She followed my gaze, her lips pressing into a thin line. Look, I don't know what's going on, but I saw them earlier. Outside, by the garden. They weren't just talking. My heart stopped, then thudded painfully. What do you mean? My voice was barely a whisper, the world narrowing to her words. She hesitated, her eyes full of pity. They were close, Nate. Too close. I didn't want to say anything, but you deserve to know. The room tilted, the fairy lights blurring into streaks of gold. I set my glass down, my hands shaking, and walked toward the garden, my steps heavy, like wading through water. The night air was cool, the scent of roses sharper now, almost suffocating. I found them there, in the shadows, Claire's hand on Ethan's chest, his fingers tangled in her hair, their faces inches apart. They didn't see me, didn't hear me, but I saw everything. The way she looked at him, the way he murmured her name, the way their lips almost met before she pulled back, laughing nervously, saying, "We can't." I stood there, unseen, my world unraveling. She hadn't kissed him, but the truth was louder than any kiss. She loved him. Maybe she always had. The vows, the ring, the life we'd built. They were shadows next to whatever this was. I turned away, my chest burning, my eyes stinging, and walked back inside, the music mocking me with its joy. Later, in the car, Claire hummed softly, oblivious to the storm in me. "Did you have fun?" she asked, her voice light, like nothing had changed. I gripped the wheel, my knuckles white, and said nothing. The betrayal wasn't just in that moment by the garden. It was in every laugh, every touch, every secret I'd ignored. And as we drove into the night, I knew the truth. I wasn't just losing her. I'd already lost her, long before tonight, and the dance was just the final note of a song I'd never wanted to hear.